What is the importance of this hardness? The amount of calcium and magnesium in water depends on its surface. In general, groundwater has harder than surface water. Water hardness is usually comes from contact with soil and rocks. Hard water is used for drinking purpose as it does not cause any health problems, and this hard water causes problems to power plant equipments. So before taking the water into boiler, hardness is to be removed. Then final one is conductivity of water. Conductivity of the water is the ability to transfer electrical charges. What is the importance of this conductivity? Pure water contains zero conductivity. Since pure water does not contain conductivity, it is perfectly insulator. It is working as insulator. When water has minerals, ions or dissolved ions, its conductivity rises because its ability to transfer electrical charges rises. Important dissolved solids in water are sodium nitrate, sodium nitrates, chlorides and metallic ions. Therefore, water conductivity measures the amount of minerals, ions and other dissolved solids it contains. Since conductivity is a quantitative measure, it will not show which solids it dissolves. Water conductivity show only total amount of solids. A rise in conductivity indicates rise in contamination, indicates entering of dissolved solids that can damage the plant equipment. Then the second topic, let us go for the second topic, that is your problems caused by water. In this, let us discuss four groups of water used in power plants. This is your potable, what is as a drinking water, and working fluid, water used in boiler. Then condensate cooling water used for cooling condenser. And number 4 is closed cooling system water, circulating water for cooling different equipments. Each type of water has special chemical limits that must be maintained. Potable water must have a certain chloride residuals. Water that must be used for other purposes in power plant must be several times purer. These water must meet the plant quality standards. For example, the pH of working fluid must keep a certain range, and this condenser cooling water must be kept free of fouling, and closed cooling water system has a limited for dissolved gases. When these limits are not maintained, plant equipment damages. Then what are the problems caused with working fluid? The water used as working fluid has 4 phases that correspond to the basic system and water cycle. They are condensate and makeup. Number 2 is boiler feed water, and number 3 is boiler water, and number 4 is steam. Each phase has slightly different chemical limits. When these are not maintained, the system can be damaged. We will discuss the relationship between 5 properties, that is hardness. Number 1 is hardness, number 2 silica content, number 3 alkalinity, and number 4 dissolved gases, and number 5 is dissolved solids, that is your conductivity, and problems caused by not maintaining limits in certain ranges. Then what is the effect of the hardness? Hardness is a measure of the scale forming ions, primarily calcium and magnesium. The level of these ions should be close to 0. When they increase due to contamination, scale forms in the boiler. Scale is the combination of calcium and magnesium ions with the hydroxide and sulfate complex of these ions. The 2 most common form of scale are the crystalline solids, calcium sulfate and magnesium hydroxide. The scale that forms sticks to the tube wall. Therefore, more energy is needed to change boiler water into steam, which leads to loss of efficiency. As the scale thickness, as the scale thickens, it takes more and more energy to heat the boiler water. The tube wall temperature increases and eventually the tube can burn up and rupture, which leads to boiler shutdown for repair. And second, what is the effect of this silica content? Silica in the feed water sticks to the boiler tube walls. Heat transfer reduces, which leads to tube failure. Apart from that, the silica carry over to turbine section and deposit as coating on the blades, which leads to efficiency loss of turbine also. Then number 3 is alkalinity. The pH of boiler feed water is kept at a range to protect the boiler system and the condensate system. If the pH is too low, normally below 8, the system can corrode in two ways. In the boiler, acidic corrosion attacks the water side of the boiler tubes. Also with a low pH, cell corrosion can take place between the copper in the condensate system and the iron in the boiler tube feed system steels. Because of this cell corrosion, certain treatment chemicals are added to the condensate system to increase the pH to the range 8.5 to 9.9. These chemicals will vaporize with the gas as the steam is formed in the boiler and travel with the fluid throughout the cycle. If the pH is too high, above 10.5, caustic corrosion can take place. The pH normally maintained between 8.5 and 9.5. Generally, the water attacks the iron in the boiler. The reaction is spontaneous and rapid at high temperature and pressure. If the pH is maintained between 8.5 and 9.5, damage is minimized. A black hard protective coating is formed named as magnetic layer that sticks to the side to the water walls. The coating is actually the start of the corrosion, but it stops in the pH range of 8.5 to 9.5. The magnetic layer coating remains and keeps any further corrosion from taking place. If the pH goes out of range of 8.5 and 9.5, the coating dissolves and corrosion continues. When the pH is normal, the coating returns contamination effect, the alkalinity of the feed water and boiler water. Since the feed water and boiler water is in the range of basic, the hydroxide ion is in the water. When contamination occurs, the scale forming ions combines with hydroxide ions to form scale, reduce pH. So if hardness increases, pH reduces. Then number 4 is your dissolved gases. The dissolved gases in the water or working fluid can also cause corrode the system also. The most dangerous gases are oxygen and carbon dioxide. Oxygen in the water can have very serious effect on the boiler and economizer. Oxygen causes a corrosion normally referred to as oxygen pitting. Oxygen pitting is actually very concentrated and localized cell corrosion in a very small area of a boiler or economizer tube. The result is a small hole or pit. This pit reduces the tube valve thickness and leads to tube failure also. Then carbon dioxide in the fluid combines with the water molecules to form the corrosive carbonic acid. Carbonic acid upsets the pH balance and can result acid corrosion in the feed system and the boiler. Primarily, carbonic acid attacks the copper in the condensate system. Dissolved gases are normally more problem in the condensate phase of the steam and water cycle. The gas removal process is not so effective in the condensate system, and often part of the system is open to the atmosphere. Consequently, the deaerator must be working correctly. And number 5 is your dissolved solids, that is called as conductivity. Conductivity is the first indication of contamination problem. As conductivity goes up, hardness goes up and pH goes down. If the contamination is very bad and conductivity is very high, carryover can take place. Carryover occurs when the steam carries dissolved solids from the boiler through pipe to turbine. And two common type of carryovers are there. Foaming and number 1 is foaming and second one is priming. What is this foaming? Foaming carryover occurs when bubbles forms in the boiler water. The action is similar to the foam that is formed when the seawater crashes on the beach. This foaming action mixes the dissolved solids with the steam. And what is this priming? Priming carryover is a sudden surge of the boiler water that foams up and carries over to the turbine by the steam. What is the problem with carryover? Carryover causes several problems. The chemical and dissolved solids in the carryover can cause serious problems in the superheater and turbine. Chemicals and dissolved solids that pass to the turbine can erode or stick to the turbine blades. If the carryover occurring long time, the turbine blades erode, and if the carryover is short time, the solid sticks to the turbine blades. If the feed water contains silica, the carryover results coat on the blades and very difficult to remove, which leads to turbine efficiency loss. Chemicals carry over to the superheater can seriously damage to the superheater tubes. Superheater normally part of the stainless steel. Stainless steel is affected by chemicals such as ions found in contaminated boiler water. These ions can lead to corrosion when carry over by steam. Plants that use water with chlorine, such as seawater, must be keep chlorine out of superheater. What are the problems with the condensate cooling water? Condensate cooling water converts exhaust steam from turbine to condensate by extracting latent heat from exhaust steam, and gained heat by cooling water in condensate releases in air by evaporation through cooling tower. There are two types of cooling water systems. One is your once through cooling water system, and second is recirculation cooling water system. What is this once through cooling water system? In once through cooling water system, takes water from source, use it for cooling, and return to the source. They pass through condensate once only. This type of cooling system requires large and continuous water supply like lakes, rivers, etc. for releasing heat to source. And the second one is your recirculation cooling. This type of cooling system needs cooling tower and associated system where heat gained from condenser releases in air by evaporation, and once again cooling water circulates in condenser. This type of system needs large amount of makeup for compensating loss of water by evaporation and drift. There are three common problems with condenser cooling water system are corrosion, scale, and biological foulings. Like scale, fouling built up of impurities on equipment surfaces. Biological fouling causes by existence of bacteria, slimes, algae, and other microorganisms. Scale and fouling builds up the following problems. Number one is it reduces cooling water flow, and second it reduces heat transfer rates in the heat exchanger. Due to above problems, low flow water circulation and poor heat transfer, which leads overheating of heat exhaust of heat exchanger tubes, which leads to leak of cooled media and cooling media. What are the problems with the closed cooling system water? Many small systems and machines that need cooling water are located throughout the power plants. This cooling water prevents from heat damages to expensive equipments. This is called closed cooling system because it is not directly exposed to the atmosphere. Closed cooling water system must free of impurities. The water has specified pH that limits corrosion and scale buildups. As the closed cooling water system is free of exposed to atmosphere, so chances of mixing of dissolved gases is leads less chance of corrosion due to dissolved gases such as oxygen. But impurities of dissolved solid mixes which leads internal corrosion due to metallic ions or more. So the use of closed cooling water should be free of dissolved gases. Thank you very much for giving opportunity. Please enjoy the second part of video containing power plant water pre-treatment and post-treatment. Thank you very much.